To govern a country, you need experience. And this is not our first rodeo. This is an election where the very thread of democracy is hanging out there because of its exposure to all sorts of people who wish to change society without first getting a mandate from you. What is an election about? An election is about a mandate. A mandate is your authority for them to do something. But they're making all these changes without even asking you. Since when, for example, was this country named after a place name in French Polynesia? This country is called New Zealand. It's not called Aotearoa. Right under your face. Every night on TV, Morning Report, radio, they're all speaking our whākene and everything else. Hop on Air New Zealand, Te Ake has reconnected with his life source. Who's Te Ake? Well, Te Ake is the one talking about this new thing called the waka in the sky. You're now flying on a boat. They're not stupid enough to actually call it Air Aotearoa, are they? Because you might have lost $1 billion worth of marketing on the international market, and down goes your share price. Oh no, so they put this flim-flam up about what you're doing, but they don't change the name of the airline any more than we should change the name of our country, because we've spent billions of dollars trying to sell our product, and we're an export-dependent nation. And this election is an inflection time in New Zealand's history. And we're going to decide whether we're going to take back our country, or we're going to let it slide like countries in Venezuela. I've seen them all over the world go from great economies to collapse. Why is it not one person, one vote of equal value? And what they're trying to say, of course, is that it doesn't matter to you or to them or the country if you should have a certain group of people in this country who are not 17%, they're not 10%, they're not even 7%, should have all the say when the very ordinary Māori in whose name they've made these claims are getting nothing from it and never asked for it. So don't blame the ordinary Māori in this campaign. You blame those elitist ones at the top with their cultural fellow travellers and other political parties who want to change the very fabric of your country. And I'm asking you right here now, make a decision to stand up for New Zealand when the voting starts in October, just a few weeks away. Let's put our cards out there and examine what went wrong. First of all, you know what's happening in politics and central government at the moment. It is no longer one woman, one man, one vote, all of equal value. No, some people like Animal Farm are more equal than others. Some people like Animal Farm are going to have more privileges than others. Some people are going to have those privileges because they've got a certain ethnic background, even though they might only have one part in 512. The 1975 definition of a Māori had to be half Māori or more. And by that definition, Māori today are not even 6% of our population. And out there are people who are having all sorts of say, 1/60th, 1/30th. I'm seeing all sorts of people coming out of the woodwork now, and they're saying, I'm Māori. Well, you go right ahead. But in my party, New Zealand First, we're not going to denigrate the DNA of our other part. I happen to be half Scots. I'm not perfect. But I'm proud of my Scots background. It doesn't just give you a natural suntan and a desire to save money. It teaches you a whole lot about things, including thrift. Save the pennies and the pounds will follow. This is all in a different age, of course. But all those principles are true. And I am sick and tired of those politicians who want to forget the rest of the DNA, whether it be Irish, whether it be Croatian, whether it be Scottish or English, and one part of it's good and everything else is evil. And one party alone is making that stand in this election. They teach in universities, and they're saying it now. Until the European arrived, New Zealand was a Māori peaceful paradise. This book here was written 101 years ago by the greatest scholar and greatest Māori politician ever was, Sir Apirana Ngata. He had an MA, he got a doctorate in literature, and he got an LLB. That degree he got in 2 years flat, which is a record in this country's scholarship. He wrote what it was about. Everything he wrote here gives a lie to what these young, new, modern, so-called Māori leaders are arguing. And he, poor Māori and Buck, and a former Deputy Prime Minister way back then, Carroll, never ever argued that that was the case. He sets out much closer to the event with far greater scholarship than Willie Jackson or John Tamahere or all these newborn chiefs. He sets out what the situation is. And I believe him, and that's what my party's policy is.
I believe that Winston Peters has got what it takes, and that means that he does his homework. When he gets it clear in his mind, he says it, and that's important in politics. And the people respond and they say, I like that bloke because he says what he thinks.
To govern a country, you need experience. And this is not our first rodeo.